Its success led to Spider-Man 3, 2007. Plot: 2 years after becoming Spider-Man, Peter Parker is estranged from both his love interest Mary Jane Watson and his best friend, Harry Osborn, and discovers that his Aunt May is facing eviction. He finds himself suffering temporary but recurring losses of his powers, often in life-threatening situations. Harry, who is now head of Oscorp's Genetic and Scientific Research Division, is sponsoring a fusion power project by nuclear scientist Otto Octavius, who befriends and mentors Peter. While handling hazardous materials, Octavius wears a harness of powerful mechanical tentacles with artificial intelligence. During a public demonstration that Peter and Harry attend, a power spike causes the fusion reactor to destabilize. Octavius refuses to shut down the reactor, which goes critical, killing his wife and burning the inhibitor chip blocking the arms from his nervous system. As Spider-Man, Peter manages to shut the experiment down. At a hospital, doctors prepare to surgically remove Octavius' harness. Without the inhibitor chip, the tentacles have become sentient and defend themselves by killing the doctors. Afterward, Octavius takes refuge at a harbor. Now corrupted by the arm's AI, he decides to retry his experiment and robs a bank to fund it. The Daily Bugle dubs the scientist Dr. Octopus. Mary Jane becomes engaged to astronaut John Jameson, the son of Bugle editor J. Jonah Jameson. Peter suffers an emotional breakdown over his inability to balance his life, with the stress stripping him of his powers as a result. He quits being Spider-Man, returns to his normal life, and attempts to reconcile with Mary Jane. He also finally confesses to Aunt May the truth about Uncle Ben's death. Aunt May forgives him, but the rise in the city's crime rates worries Peter. Requiring the isotope tritium to fuel his reactor, Octavius visits Harry to demand it, threatening to kill him if he does not comply. Harry agrees in exchange for Spider-Man, whom he still believes is responsible for his father's death. He tells Octavius to seek Peter, whom Harry believes is friends with Spider-Man, but tells him to not harm Peter. Octavius locates Peter, tells him to find Spider-Man, and captures Mary Jane. Her endangerment leads to Peter's powers returning, and he goes after Octavius. As they battle, they fall onto a New York City subway train. Octavius sabotages it and leaves Peter to save the derailing train, which he does at a great physical toll. Octavius captures the now weakened Peter and delivers him to Harry. Harry prepares to kill Spider-Man, only to be shocked to see Peter under the mask. Peter convinces Harry to put their conflict aside and direct him to Octavius' lair. They battle again as the nuclear reaction starts threatening the city. Peter reveals his identity and persuades Octavius to let his dream go for the greater good. Octavius commands the tentacles to obey him and sacrifices himself to destroy the experiment. Mary Jane sees Peter's true identity, which he says is why they cannot be together. Meanwhile, Harry is visited by a vision of his father in a mirror, pleading for Harry to avenge his death, but Harry refuses to hurt Peter. Enraged, Harry shatters the mirror, inadvertently revealing a secret room containing his father's Green Goblin equipment. On her wedding day, Mary Jane abandons John at the altar and runs to Peter's apartment in her wedding dress. After they kiss, they hear police sirens, and Mary Jane encourages him to go help as Spider-Man. Cast Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Frownyface 11, a superhero, Columbia University physics student, and photographer for the Daily Bugle. Juggling these separate lives means he briefly gives up his responsibilities as a superhero in a moment of adversity. Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. Frownyface 12, an aspiring Broadway actress and a friend Peter has loved since he was a child, yet he gave up the chance of being with her out of concern for her safety. Still harboring feelings for Peter, Mary Jane begins dating John Jameson and eventually becomes engaged to him, in an effort to make Peter jealous. She also has a crush on Spider-Man, who saved her life numerous times in the past, and is unaware that the hero and Peter are one and the same. James Franco as Harry Osborn. Frownyface 13, Oscorp's current CEO, Norman Osborn's son and Peter's best friend, who holds his alter ego Spider-Man responsible for his father's death. He is also Mary Jane's ex-boyfriend and still harbors feelings for her. Alfred Molina as Dr. Otto Octavius/Dr. Octopus Frownyface 14, a scientist working on behalf of Oscorp and Peter's role model and mentor who goes insane after his failure to create a self-sustaining fusion reaction, which also resulted in the death of his wife, Rosie. Octavius is bonded with his handling equipment for artificially intelligent mechanical tentacles, which influence his mentality and convince him that he must finish his experiment at all costs. Rosemary Harris as May Parker, Ben Parker's widow and Peter's aunt, 15, Donna Murphy as Rosie Octavius, Otto's wife and assistant, 16, J.K. Simmons reprises his role as J. Jonah Jameson, the miserly manager and editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle. 17, while Daniel Gillies portrays his son John Jameson, an astronaut and Mary Jane's fiancé. 15, Christine Estabrook appears briefly as Jameson's wife and John's mother. As with the previous film, Bruce Campbell has a cameo appearance, this time as an usher who refuses Peter entry for arriving late to Mary Jane Watson's show. 18, Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee portrays a man on the street who saves a woman from falling debris during a battle between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus. Dylan Baker portrays Dr. Kurt Connors, one of Peter's college physics professors and a colleague of Octavius. 16, while Willem Dafoe reprises his role as Norman Osborn, Harry's deceased father who appears to him as a hallucination. Dafoe came up with the idea during promotion for Spider-Man, which he compared to King Hamlet haunting his son to avenge him. 20, Elizabeth Banks, John Paxton, Ted Raimi and Bill Nunn reprise their roles as Betty Brant. 21, Osborn family butler Bernard Houseman, 22, Ted Hoffman, 17, and Robbie Robertson, respectively. 23, Ilya Baskin portrays Mr. Ditkovich, Peter's landlord, whose name is a reference to Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko, and Magina Tova plays his daughter Ursula. 24, Cliff Robertson reprises his role as Peter's uncle Ben Parker in a flashback. 25, Scott Spiegel portrays a man who attempts to eat some pizza Spider-Man is delivering, only to have it webbed from his hands. 26, Elise Din portrays a violinist. 27, Joel McHale portrays Mr. Jax, a bank teller. 28, Hal Sparks portrays an elevator passenger who has a conversation with Spider-Man. 28, Donnell Rawlings portrays the New Yorker who exclaims that Spider-Man stole that guy's pizzas. 29, and Emily Deschanel portrays a receptionist. 28, Brent Briscoe plays the garbage man who finds Spider-Man's costume in the trash and gives it to Jameson. 30, Peter McRobbie plays an Oscorp representative. 24, Reed Diamond plays Algernon. 24, Peyton List and her brother Spencer List make their film debuts playing a little girl and boy playing on steps respectively. 31, 32, Daniel Day Kim plays Raymond, an assistant of Otto Octavius working in his laboratory. 28, Asif Mandvi portrays Mr. Aziz, the owner of Joe's Pizza. 28, Joey Diaz. 33, Dan Hicks and Chloe Dykstra portray train passengers. 24, Vanessa Ferlito portrays Louise, one of Mary Jane's co-stars. 34, Joy Bryant appears as a spectator that witnesses Spider-Man in action. John Landis plays one of the doctors who operate on Dr. Octopus. 35, Phil Lamar portrays a train passenger who is most easily seen to the left of Spider-Man, the viewer's right, while the hero uses webbing to slow the train down. 36, Greg Edelman portrays Dr. Davis. 24, Production, Development. Immediately after finishing Spider-Man, director Sam Raimi with help from James Kelty signed into directing a sequel. 37, in April 2002, Sony hired Smallville alumni, Alfred Goff and Miles Miller, to write a script of the film. 38, on May 8, 2002, following Spider-Man's record-breaking $115 million opening weekend, Sony Pictures announced a sequel for 2004. 39, entitled The Amazing Spider-Man. After the character's main comic book title, 40, the film was given a budget of $200 million. 41, and aimed for a release date of May 7, 2004. The following month, David Koepp was added to co-write with Goff and Miller. 38, Koepp originally wanted to do the Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn story and have Gwen to be killed in the middle of the second movie. In September 2002, Michael Chabon was hired to rewrite 38. His draft had a younger Doc Ock, who becomes infatuated with Mary Jane. His mechanical limbs use endorphins to counteract the pain of being attached to his body, which he enjoys. When he injures two muggers on a date, this horrifies Mary Jane, and in the resulting battle with Spider-Man his tentacles are fused together. And the fusion begins to kill him. In the script, Octavius is the creator of the genetically altered spider from the first film, and gives Peter an antidote to remove his powers. This means when Octavius is dying with his tentacles, he wants to extract Spider-Man's spine to save himself. This leads to an alliance with Harry, a detail which made it into the finished film. Beforehand, Harry and the Daily Bugle put a $10 million price on Spider-Man's head, causing the city's citizens to turn against him. The first teaser trailer was released in December 2003, being attached to the screenings of The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, 73. The next trailer then premiered on April 8, 2004 during The Apprentice and in theaters with the release of The Alamo the day after, 74. Promotional partners included Burger King, Dr. Pepper, Kraft Foods, Major League Baseball, Kellogg's, and Embassy Suites Hotels. Box office, Spider-Man 2 grossed $373.6 million in the United States and Canada and $415 million in other territories for a total worldwide gross of $788.6 million, against a production budget of $200 million. Directed by Sam Raimi, screenplay by Alvin Sargent, story by Alfred Goff. Miles Miller, Michael Chabon, based on Spider-Man by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, produced by Laura Ziskin, Avi Arad, starring Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Alfred Molina, Rosemary Harris, Donna Murphy, cinematography Bill Pope, edited by Bob Murawski, music by Danny Elfman, production, companies, Columbia Pictures, 1. Marvel Enterprises, 1. Laura Ziskin Productions, 2. Distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing, 2. Release dates, June 25, 2004, Man Village Theater, June 30, 2004. United States, running time 127 minutes, 3. Country United States, language English, budget $200 million, 4. Box office $789 million, 4.